Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video from our channel, Olden Goldens. In this video, we'll be highlighting American celebrities who have passed away in the last few days, along with other notable figures from around the world. Before we proceed, we kindly ask you to show your love and support by giving this video a like. It means a lot to us.
Screamin' Scott Simon, who played piano in the early rock revival group Sha Na Na for more than a half-century and co-wrote the song Sandy that John Travolta crooned in Grease, died September 5th of sinus cancer in Ojai, California. He was 75. His daughter Nina Simon announced the news. The elder Simon joined Sha Na Na in 1970, the year after its founding as a 1950s, early 60s rock and roll and doo-wop revivalist act in its appearance at Woodstock. He remained with the group, along with original members Donnie York and Jaco Marcelino, until it disbanded in 2022. He played piano, banging out energetic covers of Whole Lotta Shaking Going On, At the Hop and others, and was known for his signature shirt whose sleeves bore piano keys, which he often pretended to play. The group basked in the 50s and early 60s nostalgia craze of the mid-70s as America came to grips with Watergate and Vietnam. Spurred by George Lucas's American Graffiti and hit records by early rock acts, including Barry's My Ding-a-Ling and Ricky Nelson's Garden Party, the fad helped popularize the likes of oldies radio and TV shows, and films including Happy Days and The Lords of Flatbush. It also gave new life to the careers of such mid-century hitmakers as Paul Anka, Neil Sedaka, The Four Seasons, and many more. Along the way, Simon and Sha Na Na hosted their own syndicated variety show from 1977 to 81 and appeared as the fictional Johnny Casino and the gamblers in the juggernaut movie musical Grease, starring Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. Simon and Louis Street Louie co-wrote the ballad Sandy for the movie, which Travolta sings as he laments a drive-in date gone wrong with Newton-John's Sandy. The film's soundtrack album topped the Billboard 200 for 12 weeks and is certified 8 times platinum in the U.S. It reportedly has sold more than 30 million copies worldwide. Born on December 9, 1948, in Kansas City, Simon was consumed by music from an early age. As a teenager, he played in jug bands, founded a jazz quartet, and tried his hand at composing. His musical career continued when he moved to New York City to attend Columbia University in 1966, where he fronted a blues band called the Royal Pythons and was given the moniker Screamin' Scott by a classmate. In 1970, Simon answered an ad in the Daily Columbia newspaper about an opening for a piano player and guitarist for a campus doo-wop group. Sha Na Na had played right before Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock in August 1969, but still was relatively unknown. Sha Na Na's Teen Angel was featured in the 40th anniversary home video edition of the Woodstock movie in 2009, and its Book of Love was included in the 2014 director's cut. After Simon graduated from Columbia, he joined the band as its keyboardist and eventual managing partner. Scott later moved to Los Angeles to perform in all 96 episodes of Sha Na Na, their 30-minute variety show that featured his band and guest artists, ranging from Chuck Berry, James Brown, and Bo Diddley, to the Ramones and Billy Crystal. On tour, Sha Na Na performed with acts including John Lennon and Yoko Ono, Steve Martin, Bruce Springsteen, and Billy Joel. Although the group played primarily classic 50s and 60s songs, Simon composed multiple songs and solo albums performed by the band and himself on records and on TV. Along with Nina Simon, he is survived by his wife, Deborah Simon, daughters Morgan Simon, stepson Nick Rochetta, and granddaughters Rocket Simon and Naomi Rochetta.
Laurent Tirard, the French screenwriter and director whose best-known works included adaptations of René Goscinny and Jean-Jacques Sampé's Little Nicholas and Nicolas on Holiday, has died after a long illness. He was 57. Tirard was a well-liked figure in the French film industry who made 15 features over the course of 2 decades. They also included Molière, starring Romain Duris as the historic playwright, Astérix and Obélix, God Save Britannia, with Catherine Deneuve, Fabrice Luchini, and Guillaume Gallienne, romantic comedy Up for Love, with Jean Dujardin and Virginie Efira, and costume drama Return of a Hero, also starring Oscar winner Dujardin. He also directed early episodes of hit show Call My Agent. Tirard's films rarely debuted at film festivals, but regularly achieved healthy box office results at home and sold well internationally too. He had a talent for capturing and retelling human stories with a lot of humor and sensibility. PR agency BCG Press wrote, in a release announcing Tirard's death on September 5th in Paris, after battling with illness. Noting how Tirard had been influenced by the work of Jacques Tati and a great admirer of Star Wars, the release recounted how the director spent time in the U.S., driven by his love of American cinema, studying filmmaking at New York University, and then becoming a script reader for Warner Brothers. On his return to France, Tirard got a job as a journalist for the Cinema magazine studio, through which he interviewed a number of top directors, including Woody Allen, David Lynch, and Martin Scorsese. Born on February 18, 1967, he broke into filmmaking in his own right with the short film De Source Sûre, which fared Gad Elmaleh in the cast. His final film was the 2022 nun comedy Oh My Goodness, about 5 nuns who enter a cycling race with their sights set on the big cash prize to help renovate their dilapidated convent. Rapper Rich Homie Quan, best known for the 2013 single Type of Way and the 2015 follow-up Flex, died today in Atlanta. He was 34. The Fulton County Medical Examiner confirmed his death to the Associated Press and Rolling Stone, among other news outlets. A cause of death has not been determined, with an autopsy scheduled for Friday. Initial reports indicated that the rapper died at his home, although the medical examiner later said in a press statement that it had been notified of the death by Atlanta's Grady Memorial Hospital. Born DeQuantes Devontae Lamar in Atlanta, the rapper launched his music career in 2012 with mixtape Still Going In and the single Differences. His breakthrough came the following year with Type of Way, which the New York Times described at the time as dizzying. Rich Homie Quan is part of Atlanta's rising generation of rappers, think Future, Young Thug, Young Scooter, who deliver lines with melody and heart, like singers on the verge of a breakdown, the paper said. The popularity of Type of Way grew even wider when the song was adopted by the Michigan State football team as its anthem for the 2013 season. Subsequent singles included Walk Through, Replay, and the hit Flex. His 2022 EP Family and Moolah included the single Crazy. In 2017, Lamar was arrested outside Louisville, Georgia, on felony drug charges, though the case was later dropped.
Fat Man Scoop, the rapper who worked with Timbaland, Missy Elliott, and Mariah Carey, has died at 53. The cause of death is not yet known. The Party King artist suffered a medical emergency during a performance on Friday night in Hamden, Connecticut, and was transported via ambulance to a local hospital, according to a statement shared by Mayor Lauren Garrett. Video shared by TMZ shows the rapper collapsing on stage around 8:30 p.m. before people rushed over to administer CPR. Scoop's manager, Michael Birch, announced the artist's death Saturday morning with a heartfelt tribute. "It is with the heaviest of hearts I announce the passing of Isaac Freeman III, known professionally as Fat Man Scoop," he wrote in a statement. "You taught me how to be the man I am today. I love you, Scoop. Thank you so much for everything you gave to me. Rest in peace." Birch, who also performs as Pure Cold, added on Instagram, "I am honestly lost for words. You took me all over the world and had me performing alongside you on some of the biggest and greatest stages on this planet. The things you taught me have truly made me the man I am today. Thank you so much. I love you, X." Born August 6, 1971 in New York City, Freeman found success with his 1999 single Be Faithful, which later topped the UK and Ireland charts in 2003. He went on to mentor a group of British musicians the following year on the Channel 4 series Chancers. He was known for his appearances on the 2005 singles Lose Control by Missy Elliott and It's Like That by Mariah Carey. Most recently, Scoop collaborated with Tekken 9 and Yi on the single No Popcorn that dropped in July. Scoop also had a cameo as himself on a 2007 episode of the animated series The Boondocks, and he competed on Celebrity Big Brother 16, UK vs. USA in 2015. James Darren, who went from teen idol status acting in youth-oriented movies like Gidget to becoming an actor in TV shows such as Star Trek Deep Space Nine and T.J. Hooker, and a singer and director, died Monday at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles. He was 88. His son Jim Moret said that he had been able to express his love for his family while being treated in the cardiac unit. "He was a good man. He was very talented," Moret said. "He was forever young." Moret said he was grateful that his father had been able to embrace his signature role as the surfer Moondoggie in the Gidget movie, and that he continued to interact with his fans. Born in Philadelphia, he studied acting with Stella Adler in New York and was signed to Columbia Pictures, where his first role was in Rumble on the Docks. He went on to appear in films including Operation Madball and Gunman's Walk before being cast in the 1959 teen movie Gidget, starring Sandra Dee and Cliff Robertson. Darren also sang the title track for the hit movie, which was based on the experiences of a teenage surfer girl in Malibu, and later became a popular TV series. The Gidget theme song launched a successful singer career for Darren, who had a gold record with Goodbye Cruel World in 1961 and released at least 14 albums. He continued to appear in feature films including The Guns of Navarone, The Gene Krupa Story, All the Young Men, and Because They're Young. He reprised his role as Moondoggie in Gidget Goes Hawaiian and again in Gidget Goes to Rome, though he was tired of the typecasting by then. Moving into television, he starred in the series The Time Tunnel, and after a brief sojourn in Italy appearing in Jess Franco's Venus in Furs, he went on to guest star on numerous series including Love, American Style, Fantasy Island, and The Love Boat. Darren was a regular on T.J. Hooker from 1983 to 1986, and also moved into TV directing, working on series including Beverly Hills 90210 and Melrose Place. He found a new generation of fans in 1998 as Vic Fontaine, the holographic lounge singer on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. He is survived by his wife Evie, sons Jim Moret, Christian Darren, and Tony Darren, and 5 grandchildren. Eric Gilliland, a longtime comedy writer best known for his work on Roseanne, died September 1st. The cause was cancer. Gilliland, an Illinois native and 1984 graduate of Northwestern University, wrote for the ABC Comedy from 1992 to 1996. He went on to consult on The Conners in 2019. His first big writing gig in TV was on Who's the Boss? He went on to write for Living Dolls, The Wonder Years, Doogie Howser, That 70s Show, and My Boys. His most recent project was the podcast The Cinnamon Bear, a holiday adventure. Gilliland received WGA Award nomination in 1994 for Roseanne. In 2019, he received a Daytime Emmy nomination for writing the children's show, The Was Was Show. Away from TV, Gilliland was quite the whistler. His tooting was featured on Sam Winch's The Lullabideer and on the soundtrack for an episode of Penn and Teller. Bullshit. Tributes to Gilliland continue to pour in on Facebook, like this one from Modern Family co-creator Steve Levitan. Weird, I know, but I found myself thinking this morning that Eric Gilliland would have taken some perverse pleasure in knowing that, of all people, he was outlived by Dick Van Dyke. That's one of the ways Eric and I bonded back in 8th grade, over our mutual love for the Dick Van Dyke Show. And Monty Python, Jack Benny, The Carol Burnett Show, SNL, and Bad Puns. Eric was just plain smart and funny. In high school, we did plays and musicals and comedy assemblies, parts of which we even co-wrote. He somehow pulled off the impossible of being biting and sweet at the same time. While doing a comedy show called Little Bucky for our local Glenview radio station with our friends Thalia Kolodamos and Betsy Brennan, I was so bad at doing accents that Eric nicknamed me the man with 1,000 voices. Gilliland's fellow Roseanne scribe Stan Zimmerman wrote this: after a particularly brutal day of abuse from Roseanne, the writing staff decided to take out our anger and smoosh food all over one of her framed publicity photos on the wall in our main office. Somehow, I ended up with the only Polaroid. And there's Eric, smiling brightly, front and center. As others have more eloquently described Eric as an extremely bright, witty and dry writer, humorous person, I know he looked at me and Jim's open queerness in the writer's room as both brave, scary, and yet very appealing. Fly high, my friend, in all the colors of the rainbow. You were loved by so many.